Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Much peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel, the hopeful elect. Okay, this is going to be a quick lesson. Okay, a few words on this movie, The Book of Clarence. Okay, and I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers are familiar with this movie. You know, there was a lot of talk about this movie when it was getting ready to come out. It came out 2023, I forget which month, but basically it was a biblical, not straight up biblical, but it was inspired off the scriptures. Okay, and of course, the first thing you see about this movie is it's an all so-called black cast. The Israelites, and let me say that it was not an all black cast, because as you can see from this little gif where you say the Israelites were Negroes, right? The Jews, the tribe of Judah, and you had the Romans. They had Romans were a part of the movie too. You know, they showed how the Romans were oppressing the Negroes, so-called Negroes, which were tribe of Judah, Israelites, and the Romans were so-called white people. And they showed that there was the director did a good job at showcasing the tension between the Jews and the Romans. Okay, but this movie, it had a lot of backlash when it was coming out, because you had a lot of people saying that it was blasphemous, right? But I watched the movie and it was better than I thought. And it really wasn't blasphemous. Like, they didn't really, outside of of course they didn't use the real name. They didn't use any Hebrew, right? It was all English, and they called the Lord JC, right? Jesus, which I don't even think they said Christ. They may not have said Christ, but they said Jesus, right? Outside of that, it may have been some couple things that they may have changed, but it wasn't really blasphemous to me, right? Especially, it damn sure wasn't blasphemous as the level of these movies that these Edomites make, with the all Edomite cast. They're supposed to be the Lord, or they'll make a movie, the Ten Commandments, and they'll have an all-white cast for the Israelites and an all-white cast for the Egyptians. That's blasphemous. Okay, because the Lord never looked like that. The Israelites never looked like that. Right? They'll make movies that show that the Most High is white. When the scriptures say Yahweh Shai said that the scriptures say Yahweh Shai looks just like his father. If you seen me, you seen the Father. Right? So, as I was saying, it was a pretty good movie. Okay, basically it's about a guy, and he's not just any guy. He's the twin brother of Thomas, right? Which the scriptures do say that Thomas was called Didymus, which means twin, but it never says that he actually had a twin, right? So we can't necessarily say that part is scriptural, but like I said, he's the main character of the movie. The main character is not Yahweh Shai or the apostles, which they are in the movie. Yahweh Shai is in the movie. The apostles is in the movie. John the Baptist is in the movie, and I think they did a real good job with John the Baptist's character. he was one of the best characters in the movie. He didn't have a big part, but they had a part. They had a part where the main character gets baptized by John the Baptist, and John the Baptist, they got him with his accent. It sounds like a Haitian accent, right? They got the beard, got the big. Everybody has beards. First off, right? So it was definitely more biblically accurate than these so-called the white biblical movies, right? And yeah, John the Baptist, it showed he was a rough dude. He slapped. The main character says some shit, basically downplaying the Lord, and John the Baptist slapped the shit out of him. And he was like moving like a Levite, like a real Levite. So I think they did a real good job with that character, right? Like I said, it wasn't really about the Lord, but the Lord was in the movie. And I think they had certain scenes where the Lord was using the spiritual power, and I think that was very cool to see in a big so-called motion picture, to see a movie based on the Israelites and them being dark-skinned people, Negroes. They show the Lord using the spiritual power. That was real cool to see, right? But basically, the main guy, he's like an average Jake. Right, that he wants to do something with his life, but he's not really doing anything with his life, right? But his twin brother is one of the 12 apostles, and he doesn't really know Yahushua himself, but he sees him around. He sees the way people look at him and talk to him, and he becomes envious. Like looking at the Lord, well, he's somebody and I'm a nobody, right? So basically, he tries to become a Messiah himself, and he basically tried to steal the Lord's, way of speaking and the way he draws crowds, and he also went to fake his own miracles. He had some people with him, and they were doing fake miracles, right? So he basically was bewitching the people, being a false prophet, right? And the Romans, they put out an order. We're gonna get off all these so-called messiahs, right? So they hem the guy up, and they crucify him. They crucify him, and they put him to death. But before he died, he actually saw the power of the Most High in real time, and he started to see. They show as he's dying, he's actually gaining faith. Because at first he didn't have no faith. He didn't believe in the Lord. He didn't believe in the Most High, right? But as he's suffering, they beating the shit out of him. After they hem him up, they make him carry his own cross, and like in his final hours, he was seeing basically how the Lord really was true. And he had a character arc. He was faithless in the beginning, but towards the end of the movie, he actually started to believe after the Lord started jacking his ass up. And they showed that in the end of the movie, after he died, the Lord went to his tomb and raised him up, raised him from the dead. And he said, I believe. He told the Lord, I believe. He called him Lord, and he said, I believe. And he saw he had a change in him. So it was all good, the movie. That was a good thing to see. He was like an average Jake. And of course he was beefing with his brother Thomas, because he was trying to get with the apostles, and Thomas was like, nah, you ain't shit. You ain't nobody. Like, stop trying to fake. Because he was trying to fake at the beginning, right? But then it shows him and his brother made up at the end. So it was good. It was good movie. It was good to see. It was good to see, it's good for us as Israelites. We know we're the people. We don't need no historical documents or historical evidence to persuade us that we have the truth. We know we have the truth based strictly off faith and faith alone. But it's good when we bring out the historical artifacts, when we bring out the true relics, the true bust of how the Israelites look, how the Lord looked. Okay, it's refreshing to see. And the mind works in pictures, so it's good to see a movie like this, so-called motion picture of a biblically accurate a description or illustration of the Israelites at the time that the Lord was on the scene. Right? They had the character Peter. You could tell they the way he moved, the way he was, you could see it. Oh yeah, that's Peter, the Rock. So of course, the guy who made the movie, which I just found out that this guy is he's actually I closed it. No, yeah, this guy who made the movie, his name is James Samuels, and this is Seal's brother, the famous singer, British singer Seal. This is his brother. I think it's his younger brother. But he obviously was influenced by the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites over here in America, first and foremost as well. You got Israelites out there in the UK, right? But he definitely was influenced by the Israelites. I'm gonna say the One Westers, right? Because those are the groups, the groups that came out of One West that really pushed this Hebrew Israelite thing out there. Cause you got the Ben Ami followers, you got other Israelite so-called churches and congregations, but they don't really they don't go out on the streets and teach, so they're not really converting new people like that. They just got these small communities and they just stick to themselves, right? But the camps that came out of One West, for the most part, they go out on the streets teaching, right, consistently. So that's what really. Of course, the YouTube, start with the Apostles and Elders of Great Millstone. All right. But, yeah. And also you have this guy, Jay-Z, was also, I believe, a producer, one of the producers on the movie. Right. And we all know he knows the truth. So all in all, it's a pretty good movie. I recommend brothers could check it out. Right? So it's good to see, like, you see that it's nothing new under the sun. Right? The way Jake is today, that's the way Jake was. Of course, our people have become more demoralized and degenerate, but we're those people. When you actually watch this movie, you can clearly see that the Israelites were so-called Negroes are Israelites. It feels so natural, as opposed to you watching these so-called biblical movies with the white actors. You can clearly see they're acting. They're trying to be a way. They're trying to act a certain way, try to act all holy and shit, right? But when you watch this movie, you can see that they were just being themselves. They were just being Jake. And this also shows you that we're at the end. Okay, as a matter of fact, let me get this one first. This is Matthew 24 and verse. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So this truth has become mainstream. And again, like I said, that movie was met with a lot of backlash and criticism because they from so-called Christians calling it blasphemous, right? And it really wasn't anything blasphemous about it, especially according, to the Christian doctrine. Oh yeah, they did push. They did. Let me say this. They did push. They did push the virgin birth. So that part was not scriptural. That part was, blasphemous, because they but according to Christian, they believe that. So I don't see, obviously the part to them that's blasphemous is them putting the Israelites as so-called black people, which they were. That's truth. But this shows you that the truth has gone mainstream. Okay, this truth is being pushed out through the world. This movie was produced by this came from Sony Pictures, a top Hollywood production company. All right. So this truth is global. Even if you don't have to say anything. You watch the movie, they're telling you straight up that the Israelites are so-called black people. And again, it just, you could, like, the actors, they got all into it. But it's like they wasn't really acting. Like, the spirit is, it was just Jake being Jake. The Lord, he, moving around. You could see, the apostles, they showed that the apostles wasn't all like clean cut, trying to be holier than thou. They were regular men that just so happened to be spirits that were chosen to follow the Lord. They had arguments among themselves and whatnot, using rough speech. They had a rough look. They all had beards. And that's the way that's the look that they had. That's how it really was. So some people could watch this movie and think it's a joke, or it's blasphemous or whatever, but they still being marked. Jake could watch this movie and think it's a joke, but you still being marked. That's still the Lord still put the spirit on these people to make this movie to push the truth. All right, they call it truth and jest. But again, it was, the movie wasn't making mockery really of the Lord. It never made, outside of him, that virgin birth part, which Christians believe that anyway. So I don't we the only ones that know that was false, that's not true. There was no virgin birth, right? But they never straight up mocked the Most High and mocked the Lord or mocked the apostles. It showed them as holy men. Yahushua was, again, he performing miracles. They showed that. They showed him having mercy on people and judging righteous judgment. Right? It showed Judas Iscariot how he sold out the Lord. Okay, and that shows you that we're at the end. They wouldn't make a movie like this 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and to be a major production like that was. All right. Something else I wanted to bring out too. We close on that. Just wanted to say a couple things in this movie, man, because I was late to it. I'm pretty sure brothers are, a lot of brothers already seen it. But this is Habakkuk 2, and I get to the point. Verse 3, Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Oh, and that I have to get this too. Was that Proverbs 18 and 1? Or is it Proverbs? I think it's Proverbs 18. Proverbs 29:18, Salakia. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Okay, where there is no vision, and that word vision in Habakkuk made me think of this scripture, which is good because, again, the mind thinks in pictures, right? If you can't visualize, when you read the scriptures, you got to visualize how these men were. That's why if you're a Christian, if you're a so-called black Christian, you will never be able to understand the scriptures until you acknowledge yourself as an Israelite, until you acknowledge your people as the Israelites, the Jews. You can't open up the book and understand it because you're looking at it like these were so-called white people. You visualizing them wrong. You praying to the Lord. You got an image of a white man in your head. So you think when you see white people, the way white people act today, you think that's how the Israelites were. That vibration. When really they were the Romans that was persecuting our people the same way they persecuting us today. So if you can't do that, then you can't inject yourself into the scriptures. When you read the scriptures, you have to be able to inject yourself into it. You have to understand this is the book of life and we are a part of it. This is not outdated. Some people say the Bible is outdated or whatever. It's totally relevant to the current times because ultimately there is no new thing under the sun, and the Bible is a living book anyway. It applies to us today more so than ever. The scriptures that were written aforetime were written for our learning, right? And if you can't visualize the characters correctly, then you're not going to be able to apply it to your life. That's why we always say the Bible is a book written by Israelites for Israelites. Okay. So back at Habakkuk. Back at Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Right. The vision of the fourth beast. The revival of the fourth beast of the Roman Empire being taken down, which is America, the West. Okay, America, as well as NATO / the EU. Right, this is the Roman Empire all over again, and we are yet this day in our captivity. We still being oppressed by these people, but the vision of them going down and the Lord coming back and setting us back up, that vision that the ancient prophets and holy men have seen continuously over and over in at different times, the Lord warned us of these days and what would take place by the various messengers that he sent, right? Israelite men. Is for an appointed time, which is very soon. Why? Because how will we know? Because of the prophecies, right? But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Right. So we can actually see this vision manifesting in real time. As the scriptures say, as for faith it shall flourish. And the truth that was so long without fruit shall be declared. And of course, that's happening first and foremost by the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the men on down. All right, you also got the other camps out there, the One West camps, right? That's telling our people they're Israelites. They still have a role to play, whether they're of the elect or not. And we do believe that they're members of the elect amongst these other groups. But whether they are or not, the Lord is still using them to push the foundation of this truth, which is just, of course, the knowledge of who you really are. Okay, that the Lord was a so-called black man, the Israelites were so-called black people, right? Because if you don't know that, you can't begin to understand the scriptures at all. Okay? And he's also putting the spirit on these different Hollywood producers to make these movies, on these different celebrities to put it in their music, or, you know, these different rappers and whatnot. You got even comedians trying to mock the truth, but at the same time, they still pushing the truth. As the scripture say, you can do nothing against this truth but or for the truth. Salaki, you can't do anything against the truth but for the truth. So even if they were trying to be funny and mocking, you still pushing the truth. All right, I'm pretty sure you probably had at least one person watch this movie, and they probably woke up off that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say a couple things. Lord, when it was edifying, I'm give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rahakudash. Until the next one, Shalom.